Welcome back. Let's read some more. So I'll not talk so much this video because this video is just I used to record reading. It's not English vlog video. The weather is super nice. I like to read this one. So I was supposed to do a lot of video in English about aircrafts, but I do it in my language Danish now. But I have to do it in English because nobody understands my language Danish on YouTube.
Wright Flyer 2. The Wright Flyer 2 was the second powered aircraft built by Wilbur and Orville Wright. During 1904 they used it to make a total of 105 flights, ultimately achieving flights lasting 5 minutes and also making full circles, which was accomplished by Wilbur for the first time on the 20th of September. Design and development, edit. The design of the Flyer 2 was very similar to the original 1903 Wright Flyer, but with a slightly more powerful engine and construction using white pine instead of the spruce they used in the 1903 machine and the gliders of 1900-1902. An important change was reducing the wing camber to 1 in 25 from the 1 in 20 used in 1903. The brothers thought that reducing the camber would reduce drag. The less lift was actually achieved. With these alterations, Flyer 2 was heavier by some 200 pounds, 91 kilograms, than the 1903 machine. Operational history, edit. The Wrights tested the new aircraft at Huffman Prairie, a cow pasture outside of Dayton, Ohio, which is now part of Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park and also part of the present-day Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The owner of the land, banker Torrance Huffman, allowed them to use the land rent-free, his only requirement being that they were to shepherd the livestock to safety before experimenting. The Wrights began erecting a shed to house their aircraft during April and by the end of May were ready to begin trials, and an announcement was made to the press that trials would begin on Monday, the 23rd of May. A crowd of around 40 people, made up of family and friends and a dozen reporters, assembled on the Monday, but rain kept the aircraft in its shed all morning, and when the rain cleared the wind had died away. There was little chance of a successful takeoff from the 100 feet, 30 m, launching rail with no headwind. The Wrights decided to attempt a short flight to satisfy the press, but the motor did not develop its full power and the aircraft reached the end of the rail without taking off. Work on the engine and poor weather delayed further attempts until the Thursday afternoon, when despite ignition problems a takeoff was attempted, and a flight of around 25 feet, 7.6 m, was made, ending in a heavy landing which damaged the aircraft. The press reports were mixed. The Chicago Tribune ran its story under the headline "Test of Flying Machine is Judged a Success," while the New York Times headline was "4 wrecks airship." Repairs took 2 weeks, but the next flight attempt also ended in a crash, necessitating a further 2 weeks of repair work. On the 21st of June 3 flights without any breakages were achieved, but 4 days later the aircraft crashed again. These accidents were caused by the aircraft's pitch instability. Suspecting that this was caused by the center of gravity being too far forward, they moved the engine and pilot position back, but this made matters worse. The machine would undulate unless the front elevator was depressed, but this created additional drag, and so they added 70 pound, 32 kilograms, of iron bars as ballast under the elevators, which were also enlarged. So modified, 24 flights were made in August, including 2 on the 22nd of August of a quarter of a mile, the greatest distance that they could fly without having to make a turn. Because wind strength and direction were less reliable than at Kitty Hawk, the men sometimes had to laboriously relay the 160 feet, 49 m, of junction railroad launch rail to suit conditions. On the 7th of September the men began using a catapult to accelerate the aircraft to the speed necessary for takeoff. They used a falling weight of 800 pounds, 360 kilograms, later increased to 1,600 pounds, 730 kilograms, suspended from a 16 feet, 4.9 m, high derrick, with a block and tackle to multiply the distance that the aircraft was pulled. Launched by the apparatus, Wilbur made his first turn in the air on the 15th of September, and on the 20th of September he succeeded in flying a complete circle, the first ever by an airplane, covering 4,080 feet, 1,240 m, in 1 minute 16 seconds. This flight was witnessed by Amos Root, who wrote an account in the 1st of January, 1905 issue of Gleanings in Bee Culture, a trade magazine he published. On the 14th of October Orville made his first circular flight, and the following day Octave Charnute arrived to view the Wright brothers' progress. Unfortunately Orville, attempting another circular flight, was unable to straighten out and was forced to land the aircraft at high speed after only 30 seconds in the air, damaging the skids and propellers. A series of flights ending in damage to the aircraft followed, but the run of bad luck ended on November the 9th, when Wilbur flew 4 circuits of Huffman Prairie, staying in the air for 5 minutes and only landing because the engine was beginning to overheat. On December the 1st Orville made a similar flight, and on December the 9th they stopped flying for the year. Harry Combs summarized the flights. There were 105 flights made in 1904, almost all short flights, but the longest, on December the 1st, lasted for 5 minutes and 8 seconds and covered a distance of 4,515 meters, or about 3 miles. During this flight Orville circles Huffman Prairie 2¼ times. On the 18th of January, 1905, the brothers wrote to Congressman Robert M. Nevin, "The series of aeronautical experiments upon which we have been engaged for the past 5 years has ended in the production of a flying machine of the type fitted for practical use. The numerous flights in straight lines, in circles, and over S-shaped courses, in calms and in winds, have made it quite certain that flying has been brought to a point where it can be made of great practical use in various ways, one of which is that of scouting and carrying messages in time of war." The Wrights disassembled the airframe of the Flyer 2 during the winter of 1904-05. They salvaged the propeller chain drive, its mounts, and the engine. The tattered fabric, wing ribs, uprights and related wooden parts were burned, according to Orville, in the early months of 1905. The salvaged propeller parts and the engine went into the new airframe of the Wright Flyer 3. Specifications: Flyer 2, edit. General characteristics: 1 crew, 1. 2 length, 21 feet 1 in, 6.43 m. 3 wingspan, 40 feet 4 in, 12.29 m. 4 height, 9 feet 0 in, 2.74 m. 5 wing area, 510.0 square feet, 47.38 m. 6 gross weight, 925 pound, 419.57 kilograms. 7 power plant, 1 water-cooled straight 4-piston engine, 15 HP, 11.2 kilowatts. 8 propellers, 2 two-blade Wright elliptical props, port prop carved to counter-rotate to the left, starboard prop carved to rotate to the right. Performance: 1 maximum speed, 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers per hour, 30 kn. 2 range, 5.0 mi, 8.0 kilometers, 4.3 mi. 3 service ceiling, 20 feet, 6.0 m. References, edit.